Okay, there.
Okay. All right. Now.
Well, you're probably wondering how I got into this position that I would need to actually hire someone to untangle my hair. And there is a story behind it. Um, I hadn't been feeling well like the first couple months of this year. And so I kind of slept a lot. In fact, I pretty much slept all day. And I tended to sleep just on kind of one side of my head all the time for hours and hours and hours. And, eventually I went to a doctor and I, got my health back on track. But then I realized with horror that I'd been sleeping on this one particular area for months and months. And just basically my whole head had gotten, all the hair in my head got all tangled up into kind of one big tight ball. And I couldn't undo it. And I couldn't believe it. But I tried for a little while, maybe like a couple days, and I realized with horror, it was completely tangled up, really tight, and it actually kind of hurt a lot. And I kind of was very panicky and desperate, and I thought, what on earth can I do? And just kind of in a panic, I scrolled the internet, and I actually Googled detangle hair. I'm pretty sure it was a while back, but I think I put in detangled hair, and I got a couple of silly things like, spray water on your hair and lie down or something. And I realized that my case was kind of serious, so I think I needed something a little more professional. And I stumbled upon this website, Billionaire Hair, and I guess it said something about detangling or dematting or something that sounded like a professional discussing hair. So I guess I went on the website and I found Janine Barrett's phone number, and I called her up and I described the situation, and she didn't sound scared off, surprisingly. And that was kind of the beginning of our relationship.
Well, tell them about the salon that you called first.
Oh, okay. Well, thanks for reminding me. In the beginning, it took me a while to sort of work out what I needed to do. I did call, actually I called a sort of a hair specialist kind of salon, very expensive, fancy, you would recognize the name. And I decided to just try it over the phone. I told them what had happened, that somehow my hair had gotten all tangled up and it was very, very tight and I couldn't untangle it myself. And kind of just asked if they had any advice. And they told me, for a really, really lot of money and for a really, really long time, they could work on it, but it would be a really huge deal, and they'd seen things like this before, and it would be a tremendous amount of work and a tremendous amount of money. And they said they didn't recommend that I do it that way, even though I guess they would be making the money off me, that what they basically recommended in cases like mine was to just cut off all the hair. Just find the knot, cut it off, have your hair grow back, and not cry too much about it. And it wasn't exactly the answer I was looking for. I didn't say anything, but that was definitely, I didn't find that very helpful because I kind of already knew that you could cut it off, and I was trying to avoid that. Like most women, I'm pretty attached to my hair, and I didn't want to give it up without a fight. So, as I said, and that was probably, then after that, it probably took me maybe a week or two to start scrolling the internet and start, decide to actually call this person. And of course I was, a little embarrassed and uncomfortable about describing this to somebody else. It kind of sounded a little ridiculous. But when I called Janine and I described it, as I said, she really sounded very warm and friendly and professional, and, she didn't sound scared off. So I let her come over to my house and take a look at my hair and, see what she thought, and she did, and that was sort of the beginning. And it's been a very long process, but it's definitely worth it, because I look back now and I think, how could I have ever even considered cutting off all my hair? What would I have done without it? I would have been so sad. I know from experience that it can take years, literally, for hair to regrow when it's cut very, very short. And there's actually no guarantee it'll actually grow back the way it was before. So, I'm not surprised that a man would say cut it off, because I think hair is it's like a female thing. It's a big deal to women. And so, I'm glad I did the right thing, but it was a very complicated process, and I'm not going to pretend it wasn't painful. Just having it knotted up was painful, and sometimes even having it unknotted was painful. But I know in the end it will be worth it. But of course, it's a situation to be avoided if you can. But if you can't, you know, feel lucky that there's someone out there who's willing to take on a really complicated and very, very time-consuming job. So I heartily recommend that if you find yourself in this position or you know someone who is, go ahead, don't be embarrassed. You know, call Billionaire Hair, call Janine Barrett, and she can help you out. And, you know, just don't give up right away and don't cut off all your hair, you know, before you've investigated other options, because you might regret it later on. So, you know, I'm near the end of my detangling thing. And so I can see the end in sight, and I obviously feel a lot better about things now, but I know how it is when you got yourself into a mess, and I know how bad you feel about it. So just don't give up, and there is help out there, and, you know, do what's best for your hair. Try to save your hair before you give it up. So
and I didn't make her say these things. Did I make you say these things? This is just like put a camera to her and do a quick testimonial.
Mm-hmm. Well, first of all, nobody can make me say things, and but you know, Janine didn't even suggest things to say. You know, my story, it's individual, just like everyone's. Everyone has a unique story,
right.
And people get in this position for different reasons, and there's no, you know, good reason or bad reason. It just happens sometimes, and it's important not to be embarrassed and to at least try to get someone to help you before you give up. And I consider cutting all your hair off giving up. You know, I think most women would also, especially if it's done kind of as a defeat. So I would just say, you know, I was lucky, and, you know, you do have to show some creativity and initiative and things like that, because finding someone on the internet, I guess sometimes people get scared. They think they're not professional or something will go wrong, but you can find very professional, you know, really special people on the internet. Take a chance, even if you aren't used to hiring people that way. I don't think I've ever hired anyone else off the internet, but, you know, something now I'm a little less nervous about it, because, you know, if I found her, I bet there are other people who are good at all kinds of things out there. So, no, nobody made me say anything. I'm just, you know, feeling really good about my decision now, and very happy to see my hair looking, you know, almost back to normal. And I have promised myself, and I have promised Janine, even though she didn't make me, that I'll just never let anything like this happen again. And I'm just, no matter what happens, I'll take care of my hair, and I'll make it a priority, and you know, I'll be on the lookout for things. You know, like little tangles become medium tangles, and medium tangles become big tangles. So, you know, I think that pretty much covers it. And as I said, I'm very happy now. I see the end in sight. It's not, you know, the experience has been very difficult and at times physically quite painful, but it's been worth it for me. And so I'll just say, take a chance if you're in a bind, literally, you know, with your hair all stuck to your head. Give it a shot, call Janine, you know, investigate. I'm sure she'll tell you the truth, whatever the truth may be. So.
Thank you, Mystery D.
Oh, you're welcome.
Okay. I guess you're not turning it off. Sure don't. I was trying. Like on me.
You have to make sure that people can't recognize me. It would be very embarrassing.
I didn't see your face.